Hi guys, okay, so here's our module walkthrough for our final module, which is on persuasive argumentative writing. It's not live yet. I wanted to go ahead and do this before I made everything live, so you can see several things here are not published yet. But your module should pretty much look the same as this once it is published. And there'll be some video lectures here as well that I'm about to record. So we'll start by going to the start page, and we'll download that and we'll look at it. Let me pull it up here. Okay, so as you can see, we're doing persuasive and argumentative writing. I kind of combine these into one mode, although they are slightly different. The differences aren't enough to warrant two different units, and you likely will use both modes in an essay. So these are probably the most useful to learn because many assignments in college require it. It's also something you'll use on a daily basis. Some examples here are cover letters or justifying your reasoning, but even things like love letters are also persuasive writing. So this module will help prepare you to think critically and engage in various conversations, whether they're written like in the form of a research paper or just conversations with other people, to show why you think the way you do, to support your evidence, and to demonstrate critical thinking. As I've mentioned previously, you're not required to do a research paper anymore for this class, but I personally find it harder to write argumentative and persuasive writing without research. Sometimes having solid facts from what other people have said can make my point much, much stronger. So you do have the option of doing research with it, and there will be bonus points available for research that is integrated well. So for this module, you'll want to make sure you do the following. Review the booklet, which I'll show you how to get to in a second. You will be expected to read the entire booklet before your rough draft is due on November 30th, and I do suggest breaking it into sections. You'll review the PowerPoint presentations on persuasive and argumentative writing and on MLA if you haven't already. There's also a presentation on research that I just added. It's not required, but it might be good to look at if you do plan to go the research route or if you want that information for future classes. You'll also complete the exercises that are assigned for November 13th and 20th or November 12th and 19th, depending on which class you're in. There may be multiple exercises due on the same date. The rough draft for both classes is due on November 30th, and the final draft is your final, and it is due on the day of your final, which is either December 7th or 8th, depending on your class. So right now I'm looking at the one for the 038 class, but the 039 class, which is the Tuesday-Thursday class, is very, very similar, and the dates are just one day different. So make sure you check those due dates. Now let's go back over here, back to our modules, and scroll on down. Okay, so here is the persuasive argumentative booklet, and to find it, you just click here and download it. There's also the Writing the Persuasive Argumentative Essay PowerPoint, which is what we'll go through in class if you're in the Tuesday-Thursday class. If you're not, if you're in the all-online class, make sure you look at this here, and the research presentation that is optional. If you've not looked at the MLA one yet, it's up here, Intro to MLA right here. You will also have several exercises that will be due, as well as the rough and final draft. So the rough draft and the final draft are pretty much what they've been in the past. You'll have 3 exercises that will be due. One on reading a piece, one on kind of doing some pre-writing to help you with your, actually writing the essay, and then just to get your feet wet with doing research, whether you actually integrate it into the research paper or not. There's a short exercise on research. The research one does require accessing the persuasive argumentative booklet, but because I know some of you have had some trouble with that in the past, I've gone ahead and put that link there. I made it a little easier for you this time for the critical reading exercise, and I didn't actually require you to have to access the booklet to do it. So a couple things on the rough and final draft. The rubrics are a little bit different because the points are a bit different. Paragraph structure and evidence and argument have increased in points, and you'll notice this research down here has 0 points assigned to it that are actually assigned part of the grade. I've left that at 0 so that I can add up to 10 additional bonus points if you do choose to integrate research. And the same is true for the final draft. There are also additional points, also 10 points, I believe, available there as well. Yes, 10 bonus points. And you can see that the breakdown, they've made the similar changes here. Paragraph structure and evidence and argument have an increase in points. Everything else is about the same. So we'll look briefly at that assignment. Let me scroll down here. That is not the right thing. That's not what I wanted. Okay, here it is. All right, so the assignment. So most college writing is in the persuasive and argumentative modes. This kind of goes over what we've talked about before. You'll choose one of the following topics and create a well-crafted argument meant to persuade the reader to consider your point of view. Make sure you support that claim with evidence. Research is not required, but you have the option of including it if you choose. If you do include research, make sure you follow the guidelines and the additional bullet points that are at the bottom of here. So your prompt options. Do you think that student athletes should be paid for the time they spend practicing, traveling, or at games? Why or why not? Should marijuana be legalized? Why or why not? Should masks be required during the pandemic? Why or why not? Choose a fictional character or a person who is no longer living and explain why you think that she or he should be president in 2020. Should college be free for students? Why or why not? Or choose your own prompt. You can choose something that you're passionate about. Just make sure you get my approval at least 24 hours before the rough draft is due so that I can go ahead and make sure it's appropriate topic. I know these are controversial topics, and it is okay for you to have a controversial opinion as long as you can support it. A lot of times persuasive argumentative writing does involve controversial topics. So, guidelines. Choose one prompt. Any responses that attempt to answer multiple prompts automatically get a 0. Read all the guidelines and look at the rubrics, which we just looked at. Remember to put your name, the name of this class, and the date in the upper left-hand corner. Put the name of the assignment, persuasive argumentative essay, in the center of the first line of the body of the paper. If you'd like to include an additional title, you can after the colon. Your essay should be at least 650 words. Longer essays are fine, but please don't go over 1,250. It should be formatted in Times New Roman 12-point font, double-spaced. All text should be aligned on the left side of the page. Press tab to indent the first line of each paragraph. Use the standard conventions of English, including grammar, punctuation, spelling, and so on. Please do not use the second-person pronouns you and your, as they are basically banned in college writing. Your introduction should have a clear hook, context, and thesis. It might be helpful to provide some background information or definitions, or to let the reader know some context of the argument that you're making. Your body paragraph should start with a topic sentence and end with a transition sentence. There should be a clear structure. Body paragraph should be at least 5 sentences long, and any evidence should be introduced, presented, and analyzed. And the focus should be on persuading your audience that your perspective is valid. Your conclusion should recap the most important parts of your paper and end with a so what statement. And if you choose to include research, be properly introduce and explain any quotes, paraphrases, or summaries that you include, and there is more information on what those are in the booklet, and to cite your research using MLA parenthetical citations and a properly formatted works cited page. I won't be taking points off per se if you don't include these, but you will receive fewer bonus points. So that's it for the walkthrough for this week. I should have video lectures up soon. Yeah, have a great day.